Have you ever felt like you've given so much of yourself to the world, only to realize one day that you've stopped caring? What happens when the most empathetic, compassionate, and idealistic personality type, the INFJ, reaches a breaking point? What does it look like when the givers of the world finally shut down? And why is it so terrifying when they do? If you've ever wondered why INFJs, often called the advocates or the mystics of the personality world, suddenly seem cold, distant, or indifferent, you're not alone. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of INFJs, exploring why they stop caring, and uncovering the chilling reality of what happens when they do. Buckle up, because this isn't just about personality types. It's about the human condition, emotional burnout, and the silent cries of those who care too much. 1. Who are INFJs? The paradox of the advocate. INFJs are one of the rarest personality types, making up less than 2% of the population. They're known for their deep empathy, intuition, and idealism. INFJs are the ones who dream of a better world, who feel the pain of others as if it were their own, and who dedicate their lives to making a difference. But here's the paradox. While they're busy caring for everyone else, they often neglect themselves. Their ability to feel deeply is both a gift and a curse. They can sense the emotions of others, often before those people even realize what they're feeling. This makes them incredible friends, partners, and leaders. But it also means they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. And eventually, that weight becomes too much to bear. INFJs are often seen as the counselors of the world. They're the ones people turn to when they need advice, comfort, or a listening ear. But who do INFJs turn to when they need help? More often than not, they suffer in silence, bottling up their emotions and putting on a brave face. This self-sacrificial nature is what makes them so special, but it's also what leads to their eventual burnout. 2. The INFJ's emotional battery. How they give until they're empty. Imagine your emotional energy as a battery. For most people, that battery recharges with a good night's sleep, a fun outing, or some alone time. But for INFJs, it's not that simple. Their battery is constantly being drained by the emotions of others, the injustices of the world, and their own high expectations. They give and give, often without asking for anything in return. They listen to your problems, offer advice, and try to fix things, even when they're struggling themselves. But here's the thing, INFJs rarely let anyone see their own struggles. They bottle up their emotions, putting on a brave face while silently crumbling inside. And when that battery hits zero, that's when the real trouble begins. INFJs don't just feel tired, they feel empty. They feel like they have nothing left to give. And that's when they start to withdraw. 3. The breaking point. When INFJs stop caring. Every INFJ has a breaking point. It might be a series of small disappointments, a major betrayal, or just the cumulative effect of years of emotional labor. But when they reach that point, something inside them snaps. Suddenly, they stop caring. They stop trying to fix things. They stop reaching out. And for those who know them, it's terrifying. The person who was always there, always caring, always giving, now seems cold, distant, and indifferent. But here's the truth. INFJs don't stop caring because they want to. They stop because they have to. It's a survival mechanism, a way to protect themselves from further pain. When they've been hurt too many times, when they've given too much of themselves, they have no choice but to shut down. 4. The INFJ's inner world, a storm of emotions. To understand why INFJs stop caring, you have to understand their inner world. It's a place of intense emotions, deep thoughts, and constant self-reflection. They're always analyzing their actions, their relationships, and their impact on the world. But this inner world can also be a prison. INFJs often feel misunderstood, isolated, and overwhelmed by their own thoughts. They crave deep, meaningful connections, but they're also terrified of being hurt. So they build walls, not to keep others out, but to protect themselves from the pain of rejection or betrayal. And when those walls go up, it's not just others who are shut out, it's the INFJ themselves. They become disconnected from their own emotions, numb to the world around them. 5. The INFJ's empathy, a double-edged sword. Empathy is the INFJ's greatest strength, but it's also their greatest weakness. They feel everything so deeply: the joy, the pain, the hope, the despair. And while this makes them incredibly compassionate, it also leaves them vulnerable to emotional burnout. They absorb the emotions of others like a sponge, often without realizing it. They take on the pain of the world, trying to heal what they can. But there's only so much one person can carry. And when they reach their limit, they have no choice but to shut down. 6. The INFJ's idealism. When reality falls short. INFJs are idealists at heart. They believe in the goodness of people, the possibility of change, and the power of love. But the real world rarely lives up to their ideals. They're constantly disappointed by the selfishness, cruelty, and indifference they see around them. They try to make a difference, but it often feels like they're fighting a losing battle. And when they realize that their efforts aren't enough, it can be devastating. This disconnect between their ideals and reality is one of the main reasons INFJs stop caring. They feel like no matter how much they give, it's never enough. 7. The INFJ's need for authenticity. When relationships feel fake. INFJs crave authenticity. They want deep, meaningful connections with people who truly understand them. But in a world full of small talk, superficial relationships, and hidden agendas, this can be hard to find. They often feel like they're the only ones who care, the only ones who are trying. And when they realize that their efforts aren't being reciprocated, it can be incredibly disheartening. They start to question the value of their relationships. Are they really making a difference? Are they just wasting their time? And when they can't find the answers, they stop caring. 8. The INFJ's fear of rejection. Why they withdraw. INFJs are deeply sensitive, and rejection is one of their greatest fears. They're terrified of being hurt, of being abandoned, of being misunderstood. So they often withdraw, pulling away from relationships before they can get too close. This withdrawal isn't just about protecting themselves, it's also about protecting others. INFJs don't want to burden anyone with their problems, so they keep everything inside. But this only makes things worse. The more they withdraw, the more isolated they feel. And the more isolated they feel, the less they care. 9. The INFJ's self-sacrifice. When giving becomes a burden. INFJs are natural givers. They're always putting others first, always trying to help, always trying to make things better. But this self-sacrifice can become a burden. They often neglect their own needs, their own desires, their own happiness. They give so much of themselves that they have nothing left. And when they finally realize that they've been sacrificing themselves for nothing, it can be a wake-up call. They start to question why they're giving so much, why they're putting everyone else first. And when they can't find a good answer, they stop caring. 10. The INFJ's search for meaning. When nothing feels worth it. INFJs are driven by a deep need for meaning and purpose. They want to make a difference, to leave a mark on the world. But when they feel like their efforts are meaningless, it can be crushing. They start to question everything. Why am I doing this? What's the point? Is any of this worth it? And when they can't find the answers, they stop caring. 11. The INFJ's transformation. From caring to detached. When INFJs stop caring, it's not just a temporary phase. It's a fundamental shift in their personality. They become detached, distant, and indifferent. This transformation can be frightening, both for the INFJ and for those around them. The person who was once so caring, so compassionate, so full of life, now seems like a completely different person. But this detachment isn't the end. It's a new beginning. It's a chance for the INFJ to rebuild, to rediscover themselves, to find a new sense of purpose. 12. The INFJ's recovery. How they learn to care again. Recovering from emotional burnout isn't easy, but it's possible. INFJs need time to heal, to recharge, to rediscover what matters to them. They need to learn how to set boundaries, how to say no, how to put themselves first. They need to find people who truly understand them, who appreciate them, who value them. And most importantly, they need to find a new sense of purpose. A reason to care again. Conclusion. The INFJ's journey. The journey of an INFJ is a complex one. It's a journey of empathy, idealism, and self-sacrifice. But it's also a journey of pain, disappointment, and burnout. When INFJs stop caring, it's not because they want to. It's because they have to. It's a survival mechanism, a way to protect themselves from further pain. But even in their darkest moments, there's hope. INFJs are resilient. They're strong. And with time, they can learn to care again. So if you know an INFJ who stopped caring, don't give up on them. Be patient. Be understanding. And most importantly, be there for them. Because even when they seem cold and distant, they still need you. And if you're an INFJ who stopped caring, know that it's okay. You're not alone. And it's not the end. It's just a new beginning.